Lord. Alright, wait a second. While I'm at it, I'm gonna make another video about MBTI, specifically ENTPs and INFPs, because god damn, that shit is like a moth to a flame. I don't even understand it. Like, there's something about INFPs that I absolutely adore and I completely and totally value. And you know, I'm a 7W8, so I have that like really protective. If you're in my circle, my 8 wing like is really defensive. And if you watch my other video about the BDSM, I'm totally a daddy dom, so super nurturing and protective, caring, like, and somehow INFPs flag every single ounce of that for me. Like, they make me want to be super protective of them, and there's like this innocent quality, even though a lot of them are a little twisted, but there's this innocent quality that I just want to like keep them safe from the world. And I think I've said this before, but INFPs, the dominant FI is so value system based that they seem to be the most variable of any type. Like, INFPs are probably the hardest to put in a box. There definitely are some things that you can put them in a box on. They're probably going to be a vegetarian. That's pretty INFP. But so they're super variable, like even in careers and things like that. It's just that, and oddly enough, like sometimes their value system will go against their function stack. Like, I've known some extremely organized and detail driven INFPs, which is bizarre to me, but I don't know, like, I feel so protective, and I, like, it's like if there's 100 people in a room, I will literally, like, zero in on an INFP. Now, and I'm not gonna lie, it's almost like this with the dudes too, because, good lord, it's hard for me to see them as guys. No offense, INFP dudes, you guys are fucking awesome, and everybody enjoys somebody that can play a guitar really well, so you guys got that shit covered. But I am going to talk about like some of the negative, because as much as I value and respect the shit out of INFPs, it's like I can only love them from afar. And I don't know if it's just such a strong curiosity, like a pull to one another, because there's so much difference. I do love the calm energy that I typically associate with INFPs. I love the sort of spiritual, metaphysical, you know, you guys like almost always seem like you're a massage therapist. There's so many damn INFP massage therapists and acupuncturists, and you are all really drawn to that sort of spiritual healing area. But here's where things like sort of deconstruct for me. The communication. It feels like one of us is speaking in analog and one is speaking in digital, and the signals just, it's like the conversion is not working, and you know, it's just not going through. And I've never experienced so many misunderstandings, and always of the same type. Like, it's always the same kind of misunderstandings. Like, the INFPs, like, it's like you guys almost feel like you have to apologize for existing, and you're constantly worried that you're upsetting me or like a bother or whatever. It's like, you know, it's like if you were bleeding and I was in the middle of something and you were like really badly bleeding, you wouldn't tell me you needed to go to the hospital because you don't want to interrupt, and you wouldn't want to bleed on my floor, so you'd like wait in the bathtub until I was done or something. And clearly not all. Like, there's a lot of assertive INFPs, but part of MBTI is stereotype. So I'm stereotyping. This has been my experience more often than not, so I'm applying it. But that's really difficult for me. it's like you're always trying to read into something or infer or deduce something. And I'm not sure if it's because you're used to people operating that way, or if it's because you operate that way and you assume other people are. I don't know which it is, but I'm so direct and blunt. There's never anything between the lines. So when somebody's looking for it, it becomes really problematic. A really good example of that is like I was with an INFP one time, and I looked over at this dude unloading a bike where people frequently bike, and he had this really cheap bike. So I was like, "That's a cheap bike." Now in my head, I was thinking maybe the dude is, maybe the dude's a youth minister, and he bought the bike for a kid, and he's just taking it there to test it out. Maybe he's I didn't really think about it. Maybe he's meeting somebody to sell the bike. I don't know. I didn't care. I just looked at the bike, like deduced something, and stated a fact. But they took it further. They took it as like me making a judgment about the person's taste in things, the person's like income and stuff like that. And I wasn't. I think I was just surprised based on the area we were in, the car he was in, the way he was dressed, sort of the whole thing. I saw it, and that was the one thing that stood out to me. And there just seems to be a lot of that. And with INFPs, I've noticed you guys will hold it in for a really long time, and I do not like that at all. I would rather just deal with it and get it out of the way, because otherwise you're spending a lot of time upset about something that isn't even reality. Like, if it's not what I meant, I'd rather you just know that I care about you. I would never say anything mean or demeaning, or I'm not passive aggressive. And then if there's any confusion in your head or anything that is outside of what you know to be me and how I communicate, I'd rather you just ask so we can square it up. Now, I will say my daughter is an INFP, and we have really strained communication. There's been times where she hasn't spoken to me for 6 months because of a misunderstanding. And it's really hard for me as a parent. I mean, I just want her to be happy. So as long as she's out thriving, doing her thing, that's fine by me. But I don't want her to think things that aren't accurate. I don't want her to think that I'm upset about something or whatever, or I've said something like, mean, when that wasn't what I meant at all. And I'm trying to think of other examples like that I've really struggled with the communication. Maybe somebody can comment on problems that they've had with ENTP, INFP communication, because it does seem like there's just this little, it's just not somehow meshing, and the gears are constantly grinding. So that's my thoughts on it. That's it. It could also be like ENTPs are so blunt and harsh and abrasive, at least I am, that maybe that's just really hard for INFPs. Another thing that I'm going to comment on while I'm at it is, what's the deal, they always say the INFJ door slam. I don't think that's accurate. I don't know how, somehow, maybe there's so many INFPs in the INFJ groups and stuff now that they're confusing who does what. But INFP door slam, hell yes. I have noticed that an INFP will just cut you out. And FI in general seems to be like that. I can never be cold like that. I would always offer closure on anything for anybody at any point in my past or my life. But INFPs seem like they will just, I don't know why. Maybe you guys can comment. But you guys will door slam the fucking shit out of somebody. So, and I struggle with that. Whenever have a dynamic where there's an INFP I care about, I always wonder if there's something that's going to happen. They're not going to tell, it's going to be a misunderstanding. They're not going to seek clarification or tell me, and they're just going to cut me out of their life. So it's really hard for me to invest in INFPs because there's that underlying fear, shit, what if they just cut me out? That would suck ass. Alright, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say about this at this point. So, whatever. Same as always. Troll the comments, dislike my shit. I don't give a fuck.